Welcome back to another U.S. immigration law video where we try to make this complex U.S. immigration system we're working with a little easier to understand. And there's been a lot of crazy things happening lately with U.S. immigration. And one of the biggest changes recently is a proclamation that was issued by President Trump over the weekend. And that was on Friday, September 19th, 2025. Now, this proclamation put a lot of people into a frenzy as to how this might impact them. And I'm talking today specifically how this might impact Canadians and what Canadians would need to do in response to this proclamation. Well, since the proclamation came out, both the U.S. Department of State and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services came out with clarifying memos, and those memos have put a lot of people at ease, at least in the interim, while we're waiting for more changes that are likely to happen in the near future. So this proclamation requires a payment of $100,000 for any new H-1B petitions, and it specifically clarifies this is for petitions filed after September 1st, 2025. And so anybody that has already on an H-1B, who already had a petition filed, who was already registered in the H-1B lottery, then they are exempt for this if they've already filed that already on an H-1B. You can extend your H-1B. You can continue to travel on that H-1B. You can change employers. So for those currently in H-1B status as a Canadian, then this is going to have no immediate impact on you. However, there will be an impact in the upcoming H-1B lottery, as well as with petitions filed after September 21st. And that's where we're looking for more clarity from the administration. My guess here, with what I've been seeing and the current administration, this is a crackdown on foreign labor, especially in the IT field, and it says it specifically in the proclamation. They're trying to protect U.S. jobs, and the H-1B lottery system is broken, and everybody knows that. There's been a lot of fraud with the H-1B lottery system. So to me, this is a band-aid. They're throwing this out there to stop H-1B petitions until they get this fixed, until they come up with a better lottery system, a better way to allocate these H-1Bs and to eradicate fraud. There's actually another memo that came out just yesterday talking about a special task force that they've come up with to investigate fraud and to clamp down on H-1B fraud. So this to me is very much temporary. We'll see. That's my guess. Until they come up with a better long-term solution for this problem. But in the interim, Canadians continue to travel, continue to work. If you're on that H-1B, you have no need to worry. Well, because we don't know what this is going to look like in the future, well, Canadians actually are in a very good position because Canadians, unlike citizens of the rest of the world, qualify for TN status. So if you are on an H-1B, if you're concerned about the future of the H-1B program and what that might look like for you, I've already had several consultations on this. The TN visa is a very good alternative. They've already done changes to the TN visa program under the USMCA under this administration. They've modified some of the occupations, but for all intents and purposes, the TN and the option for Canadians to work in the U.S. under the TN has remained, and it's unimpacted by the current administration. So that remains, in my opinion, still the best alternative for Canadians to work in the United States. So if you have concerns about this H-1B, what it looks like, well, this might be the time that you consider changing back to a TN. Or avoiding the H-1B altogether and going the TN visa route. The downside is the TN visa isn't available for all occupations, and if you're in sales or marketing or management professions, or even if you're a practicing doctor, for example, then the TN visa isn't going to be an alternative for you. You're stuck with the H-1B program and the uncertainty that comes with that. The other thing about the TN is is if you've listened to anything we've talked about as far as moving to permanent residency in the United States, it is a little more nuanced than going from an H-1B to green card, but it's the same process through the labor certification program and PERM for a TN visa holder to then change over to permanent residency in the United States. Also, it's the same process if you get married to a U.S. citizen or a U.S. permanent resident. So you're not losing on your opportunity to move over to an H-1B either. So right now for Canadians, I don't think there's a huge need to panic. Also, there's a possibility, who knows, the way this is worded, it's for those traveling to the United States, and it limits their ability to get a new visa stamp. It also indicates, though, that all new petitions must be accompanied by this $100,000 fee. So we'll see how that plays out. There might be, like there has been in the past, or a way that Canadians are able to circumvent some of these regulations, but that's something we're just gonna have to wait and see how that plays out. So if you have any questions about the H-1B program or TN visa, reach out. That's what we do. We help Canadians work and live in the U.S. And we're going to continue to follow this, and we'll keep you updated as we have more information as this plays out. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up. Share it with those out there that you think might find this content helpful, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.